Hi guys, I'm back, Dan's back, and by popular demand, following our 13th Doctor commentary video, which is almost on 2,000 views right now.
Back by popular demand.
Dan is back by popular demand. They like you. You got anything to say to them?
I don't know when to reveal that I am actually Maisie Williams with facial hair. I don't know when to reveal that.
Save it for the end.
Okay.
Dramatic reveal.
Yeah.
Everyone says I look like Maisie Williams, and that's kind of a compliment for me. Dan isn't so sure what he feels.
I'm not.
He's not averse to it.
I'm not averse to it.
He's just not used to it. Usually he gets
worse people to look like.
He usually gets Dominic Cooper, don't he?
It's a bit odd.
In actual life, he looks a lot like Dominic Cooper. So we watched Dragonstone, not illegally.
No.
Perfectly legally. We watched Game of Thrones Dragonstone.
Who would watch Game of Thrones illegally?
No one would. Villains would watch Game of Thrones illegally.
HBO. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, same.
Every Sunday night.
So we're here to review the episode. We'll just talk about it a little bit. We've both seen it now. This is going to be spoilery, so be aware if you haven't seen it, then don't be a fool. Don't watch this. Watch it later. So, let's begin. Thoughts?
I liked it.
I was underwhelmed.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't underwhelmed because I sort of expected it to be mainly set up.
Yeah.
Rather than anything else.
Well, I kind of thought that it was being sold as the first episode. Dany comes over, to her family seat.
Technically she did.
Yeah, but that was the last scene. And for me, it could have started from that last scene. It could have started, here we go, Dany's at Dragonstone, let's kick this stuff off. There was a lot of unnecessary stuff in that episode, in my opinion. That was boring.
What would you say was unnecessary? Any scenes in particular that you say you were... Any potential montages you'd say you found particularly repulsive or disgusting? Because I can't think of any.
There's certainly nothing unnecessary.
No. Yeah. I sure did love the Sam scenes though.
They were really necessary to the plot. Every single frame was necessary to the storytelling.
That is what I wanted from Series 7. I want to know what Sam's doing. I want to see how he's doing, becoming a big.
No, but I didn't want to see his journey, Dan. I wanted to see him scrubbing toilet pans, bedpans.
He started from the bottom. Now he's here. He started from the bottom.
It started from the bottom, and then Sam cleaned it up. That went on for way too long, and someone sat down and wrote that.
Yeah.
Someone wrote it, and the thing was, it didn't go anywhere. There was all that scene with him going backwards and forwards through corridors. Oh, I'm Sam, I work hard. But was it necessary? Because we already know as a character that Sam works hard. So what were they trying to prove to us? Sam works hard. We know. That's Sam. And then there was the scene with Jim Broadbent.
I didn't mind that scene as much as you didn't like it.
I didn't like the body bit, really.
Well, I wouldn't say I liked it because there was a body being, taken apart. Yeah. I liked it for Jim Broadbent.
Yeah, I don't know, I kind of feel like I don't mind gore in Game of Thrones, but sometimes it does feel unnecessary.
I do think that, but then watching Sam shovel some poop, going back, shoveling poop, going, "Boh!" I heard that about 30 times more than I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I would honestly rather watch Oberyn have his head crushed like a melon again than watch that again, to be honest.
Alright, okay, fair enough, I can see the...
I don't think I've ever actually felt, sick during Game of Thrones, other than Sam sort of, shoveling around liquefied,
And it was intercut
feces.
with food. It was intercut with food, and that's the worst part.
Yeah. Why has he become like a dinner lady?
I don't know. Because he went there to become a maester, didn't he? And they just got him serving food in the cafeteria.
They're trying to show us the harsh reality of this world.
Yeah.
You can't just become a maester. You've got to work your way up.
What if the next couple of series, that's it? It just ends on Sam getting his diploma. He graduates. He's finally a maester. Well done, Sam. Everyone's dead. The White Walkers rule, but the maesters survived.
He did it.
What other unnecessary scenes were there? Were there any other things you found unnecessary that didn't need to be involved?
I can tell you what scenes were necessary.
Yeah.
What aspects of the episode were necessary.
Okay.
Starting immediately from Euron Greyjoy's haircut.
You see, I didn't get the hype with that. I didn't really get the hype with Euron's haircut.
Then you're missing the point. I liked it. It's like, he's come to see Cersei. He's a bit mistrusting. He's a bit devious, but you know, he's got a nice new haircut.
He's got a fresh trim for Cersei.
He's got a fresh trim.
For Cersei.
Yeah.
He's come to challenge Jaime Lannister, so he has to have that fresh trim.
Exactly.
What was that you were saying about Jaime Lannister when we were at Saber Centre earlier and we got told off for filming in Saber Centre?
What about his?
Yeah.
About his
new
costume?
look. About Jaime.
Well,
Lannister's
I said
look.
if it was socially acceptable, I would happily wear the new armour that Jaime's wearing. He was wearing it last series as well. I think it's one of the best designs of a costume I've seen on the show, and I would happily just walk through like a supermarket in it.
But then I said,
if I was allowed.
But you're too ruled by what people think of you, because I say just go out and do it.
Yeah.
We all think
it might turn a few heads.
We all think we're free from peer pressure, but it just goes to show that no matter how big and strong you are and how old you get, who actually has the guts to walk around a shopping centre with armour on? My favourite characters were both in this episode. So my favourite characters are Sansa and Cersei. Now I am actually... This is controversial with you, isn't it? Because you hate Cersei so much.
Yep.
Tell the people why you hate Cersei and
I've hated Cersei from episode 2. I think it was episode 2.
It was episode 2, yeah.
Right. Nobody needs... It's pure evil to unnecessarily, like, oh, we can't kill this direwolf, but, oh, there is another direwolf we can kill. It's a little baby dog. And Cersei was happily willing to...
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I've not had the best of relationships with Cersei Lannister.
I've tried so hard to get him even slightly...
Admittedly, I felt a little bit sorry for her during the whole Walk of Shame thing.
Oh, everyone did, yeah.
But she's not learnt any lessons from that.
She hasn't. She is evil.
She is evil.
She is a product of circumstance, though. Cersei is my favourite, and so is Sansa. So the fact that this series, they're really showing how Sansa is starting to act like Cersei is exciting for me. Like, it's really exciting. Like, that could be young Cersei. When she was talking to Littlefinger at... Was she at the wall then, or was she at... No, she was at Winterfell, wasn't she?
Yeah.
The way she was talking to him was like when Cersei like really throws some nasty shade on the people around her, like, step away from me, like, stop breathing, you're annoying me.
Yeah.
That was so much like Cersei.
It was, yeah, which I didn't like.
But you quite like Sansa otherwise, but...
I wasn't happy. I was thinking, alright, Sansa, pipe down, when she was, like, getting leery.
Alright, we need to talk about the Jon and Sansa.
She was getting a bit leery.
I'm with Sansa on this one.
Look, no. If the roles had been flipped, okay, and Sansa was there doing a big speech to rally everyone up, you know, we want the 10-year-olds to fight. If Sansa was saying that, Jon would sit there quietly and go, yeah, you know what, you're in charge here, I'm going to let you say whatever you want. And then he'd maybe, like, quietly tell her afterwards, he'd be like, oh no, come now, Sansa. I don't think we should do that. You should let the families have their own castles. And Sansa... maybe she'd listen.
It's all very well to like Jon and be like, oh yay, Jon Snow, and I do like Jon, but he's not running Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party. This isn't a democracy. Like, if they want to stay in power, he can't be all like... They got to keep some semblance of power in this medieval society.
Jon knows what's coming, alright? Everything Jon's doing right now is to prepare for the White Walkers. Has Sansa seen the White Walkers?
Jon, do you know what Jon is? I'll tell you
has
what Jon...
Has Sansa seen the White Walkers?
No. Let me tell you what Jon is. He's a lefty, bleeding heart, liberal snowflake. That's Jon. He needs to get in the real world with Sansa. Okay, we all want a perfect society, but that's just not going to happen. Where's the money going to come from? A magic money tree?
Okay, so you think Sansa's right?
I think that Sansa is thinking with more strategy. Jon is a nice guy.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see if strategy gets Sansa anywhere come episode 8, the finale, when that wall comes down. I'm telling you, the wall's going to come down any episode now. We'll see who steps up. Won't be Sansa.
I was slightly worried in the Sansa and Jon scenes. Now, maybe it was just me, but there were parallels definitely with, like, you know, the very first series of Game of Thrones with Ned and Catelyn?
Yeah.
They were acting like Ned and Catelyn, and I'm slightly worried they're going to pair them up.
No, you're not going to pair them up.
I'm just worried about it. I wouldn't want them to do that.
You're looking too much into it. They're not going to pair them up.
Are they just trying to show them as parallels, as like, you know, he's like his uncle,
Probably.
she's like her
I think
mum?
so,
Like, okay, fair enough.
Tell you what I did like about the episode. I liked how, now that we are coming to the end, every character is like acknowledging the other character's existence, like openly, like verbally.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I've, like, very rarely would we hear Cersei actually talk about, like, Jon, like as a threat, and like I like that.
Oh, she's genuinely starting to panic.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Like some of my favourite scenes of that episode were the Jaime and Cersei scenes. I love that relationship so much. Wait. I don't mean like they're a really twisted, weird relationship, but they are one of the most compelling characters on the show because Jaime's probably one of the most morally... He's on a bad side, he's in a bad house, but his morals are essentially quite good, aren't they? He's just found himself in a weird situation. Whereas Cersei is flat out bad.
Yeah.
It's like Jaime's flaw is his love for Cersei. Without loving Cersei, Jaime would be probably on Team Jon.
I think Jaime will be on Team Jon.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the day when the White Walkers come. We're going to see Jon standing next to Jaime, right, and they're going to be fighting together.
Will Cersei be dead by that point?
No. Cersei will be back in King's Landing, pretending it's not happening.
Well, we were saying, weren't we, that we thought that the White Walkers might just, like, go into the human world with all these characters, and Cersei just wouldn't care and wouldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, but also I don't actually think there's going to be time for Cersei not to care. It's not like they're going to take over slowly. It's going to be a quick wham through the wall, wham, first class.
Yep, done. That's quite. It's like it's a wide space. Like they're not just going to be.
The what? Trust me. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. No, I'm serious. They will.
So
Why
if they
would
were,
you
like,
get
if the
really
White Walkers
fast?
were in, like, if the White Walkers were like, imagine now, right?
Yeah.
So here.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, the White Walkers have just. They're at Herne Bay.
Yeah. That's going to be such
How
a bad
fast-
reference.
how
right?
fast do you think-
That's why I have very little idea where we are.
Alright, so we're in the south of
We're going
England.
to be from LA
We're in
to where
Kent.
they are.
Like, we're in Kent, we're in the south of England. So just imagine, oh, the White Walkers, they're in Kent.
Yeah.
So some of these other places, I mean, they're not going to be in China in a day. It's going to take them a while.
Yeah, but no, look, they're like. How do you know? They're like supernatural ice people, and they've got weird dark clouds that follow them around.
Okay, well,
They went exactly the same place as Bran, Hodor, and Mira. Okay.
yeah.
The only thing stopping them coming back through as well is the wall.
Well, why do
As soon
we...
as that goes down, they're going to be
Right, in that case, why
straight
are
through the
we
north. Whoosh.
always seeing them walking in the same direction, really slowly?
Because they're not like the
Well, do you
white. They're not the white runners,
You
are
reckon
they?
as soon as the wall comes down, they're suddenly going to... That wall is down, and suddenly, boom, it's
They're going to
Pietro.
run too fast and like go too
They're
far
going to
down.
go too far. They're back in the same place they started. No one knows what happened. Mild
The same place they
blizzards.
started.
Mild
They've got
blizzards.
to run the globe.
Yeah.
By which time they've built the wall back up.
Yeah, and it's like, oh. And then they have to go
winter is
slowly
over.
again. They have to go really slowly again. Walking slowly. Oh, there's a wall.
Oh, I know everyone, including me, was freaking out about the ice giant. That's cool.
There were two ice giants, weren't there?
There were two ice giants.
A love interest for the ice giant.
Oh.
It'd be kind of lonely to be the only ice giant.
Yeah.
What,
But what is-
heartwarming.
yeah.
How heartwarming for the first ice
Are
giant.
you implying though that ice giants can't like mix with like the whites and?
I think they could.
in the dating world.
I think emotionally, they could connect.
They could connect emotionally. What more do they need?
Well, that's up to the giants themselves. What more do they need? Can they live like that? Or do they need more?
It's good for them, but is it good for the whites? If it works for them.
If it works for them, we're very accepting and tolerant here. I'm just saying, like, maybe they might want to stick to their own kind.
Would an ice giant... Oh, is ice giant the right term to use? When I say ice giant, I think of, like, Laufey from Thor.
Are you asking them in, like, a sort of, like, am I getting the correct terminology
I
here?
guess.
Call me out. Call me out if
Sort
I'm
of.
using the wrong word for the ice giants.
Well, I guess.
I don't want to offend the ice giants.
Well, yeah. I don't. Same as gibbous. If I was saying gibbous wrong yesterday, imagine that. Now I'm saying ice giant wrong. It's ice giant.
They are right. Well,
Yeah,
they're
but everyone-
giants. They're White Walkers. They're icy.
Ice giants.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Mm.
But are you saying that an ice giant couldn't date a normal giant? Are there any normal giants left, or have they all come back down?
I thought that was the last giant.
Oh, one.
Yeah, one.
One.
So the episode started with David Bradley as Walder Frey. That was quite exciting.
Which must admit I was thrown by. It took me about 2 minutes to realise what was going on. I had thought I was on the wrong episode for a minute,
Yeah.
but then I thought,
Why would you?
how can that
why
recap
would you?
I've just seen?
Why would you think you'd be on the wrong episode, Dan? If you were watching it on HBO, like, why would you possibly have got the wrong episode?
I thought that the channel I was on was playing Game of Thrones repeats.
Accidentally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds plausible.
Or like a David Bradley as Walder Frey tribute episode. All his best moments.
There have been many.
Yeah.
And they could add that song as well. You don't mess around with Walder Frey.
Yeah.
Red wedding. Lots of stabbing and lots of beheading. Yeah. Right, so Arya did that because...
Arya
did that because she was getting revenge for her family, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Could you technically argue that, like, Cersei's doing the same thing? In fact, with more reason.
Who is Cersei getting revenge for?
Well, she had to protect her children when she killed Ned, right?
What? Hang on.
And her family.
In what way was she protecting her children from killing Ned?
Right, okay, so Ned knows the fact. Ned knew that her children were actually Jaime's children.
Okay.
Now, if that got out, then what might potentially happen to her children? They get completely disinherited.
I think there are better ways to ensure that information doesn't get out than beheading the person, to be honest. Especially Ned. I think she probably could have spoken to Ned. And
No,
if
she tried. They had that conversation in the courtyard.
If Cersei wasn't Cersei, if she was a nice person and she hadn't killed Ned's child's bloody direwolf, and if she'd actually shown herself to be a nice, reasonable human being, I think maybe Ned wouldn't have threatened her. He'd be like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." The grandma's in the back of shot.
Watering the plants.
Watering the plants. Watering the plants. I liked all the scenes with the Hound.
Oh, I love the fact that he's now getting, like, his worst fear, his nightmare was fire.
Oh, I need you to explain something to me.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the previously trailer
Yeah.
that they played in front of the HBO airing of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I did.
In that there was a callback to some sort of scene between the Hound and little Arya, and there was like a father and his daughter.
Yeah.
And something about a coin or something. I can't remember that, so I must have watched it ages ago. Was that implied to be the corpse of the father and the daughter, or was that just to remind it?
No, I think it was that actual father and daughter.
Because the
Didn't
guy
they
was
rob
like,
them
"Did
or
you know
something?
them?" Yeah,
They like let them into their house or something, and then the Hound robbed them, and Arya was really upset about it. The Hound is another really interesting character because he's one of those characters that a bit like Jaime.
Is any of this being used? Because Grandma's
Yeah, we'll keep Grandma in the back of shot.
Okay.
But like, isn't the Hound one of those amazingly morally grey Game of Thrones characters where he's in a bad situation, he's had a bad time, and he does really bad things, like questionable things.
The Hound is one of my favourite
But
characters.
inside him, there is a feeling of like he wants to do good.
Yeah.
I love characters
And
like
he
that.
will, yeah.
I really love characters
will.
like that. That's him and Jaime. Is there anyone else like that in the show that's like a on the bad side but wants to do good? Like.
I would have said. Well, Theon's entire arc sort of came round to that.
You love Theon, don't you?
Theon is my favourite character. Theon Greyjoy is my favourite character. And the scene in Series 2, or Season 2, when he beheads, or attempts to behead, Who is it? Is it Carstark or something?
Carstark, isn't it? Lord Carstark?
Someone like that.
I think.
I think that's one of my favourite scenes from the entire show.
Oh.
And that's not even sarcastic. Genuinely. Like the music, like the atmosphere, you can just tell it's like a big downward spiral for Theon, where it was getting worse and worse all series, and then he gets to this point where he just cannot come back from that, and I love that.
Ramsay's dead now, isn't he?
Ramsay's been taken apart by wolves.
By dogs.
Wolves, dogs.
Is that like Walder Frame?
Wolves, dogs.
I don't care.
Starks are all the same.
Alright, let's talk about the last scene with Dany and the gang. Like, Sir Davos wasn't there. Is he even part of Dany's group, actually? No, he's John's.
Why would Davos be there?
It's weird.
Do you hear that scene with Cersei and Jaime? Sir Davos wasn't there.
Sam training as a
It's
gangster.
weird that scene with the Hound, because Theon wasn't there.
You say that as a joke, but then in Sam's actual scene, randomly Ser Jorah is there.
Oh yeah. Sure is there. This scared the absolute bejesus out of
The
me.
Hebrew bejeebus.
The Hebus bejeebus.
Right out of you.
How did it scare it right out of
It
me?
might not even have been Ser
With his
Jorah.
big old stone arm.
No, but it might just have been someone who sounded a bit like him.
Could have been.
We
It
never
might have
saw
just
him.
been the actor playing a different role. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't think we'd notice, but that
He was
guy
around.
didn't actually show up that night, and they were like, "Oh,
Can you just like?
yeah." He was
Yeah.
like, "All right, I suppose I can."
So then Jorah is actually going to like turn up someplace else with Sir Davos.
Fine, but he's completely stoned now. They're actually wheeling him around. he's just a statue.
Talking of wheeling people around, that scene
Bran?
with Bran and Mira, right, at the wall, how stupid was it when Ed said, like, he said who they were, and
Yeah.
then Ed was like, how can you prove it?
Yeah.
How does anyone prove anything in this medieval society?
Maybe I've been watching too much, like, oh, it's a big mystery show.
Yeah.
There's going to be some twists. But I had a weird feeling when I saw that, because I was like, well, what Bran just said is in no way explaining that he is in fact the son of Ned
It
Stark.
really wasn't explaining anything.
And like what he said was kind of like, oh, the big war is coming, something like that. Or the winter is here, and the great war is coming. You need to let me through, something like that. And then Ed was just like, all right, is there some chance, like maybe like the White Walkers could use some sort of like hypnotism power, or they might have like possessed them somehow? There might be like Ice Bran and Mira.
Maybe next episode Bran and Mira will arrive again.
That would
be quite exciting.
Like the big Roman horse kind of thing, where they went in.
The Trojan horse.
The Trojan horse.
The big, you know that
The big Roman
horse. You know. And it tried to convince them to let it in. And it said, there's a war coming, you best let me in. No. And Ed was like, sure. And then the next day a second Roman horse arrived.
And yeah. And the other Roman horse was like, oh. Oh.
But yeah, the Dany scene, which I thought Sir Davos, for some reason. Do you know why I know why I was thinking that now? Because I'm thinking about, you know, the table room and everything. And the usual gang in that room were Melisandre,
Yeah.
Stannis,
Where is
and
Melisandre?
Davos. I don't know, she's still around. She's just not in this episode, much like Sir Davos. She's probably with Sir Davos. Somewhere.
You just want Sir Davos to be somewhere.
They're probably having that
Is
conversation.
Sir Davos
like,
with John?
yeah, he is, but he's probably there, just not.
Oh no, he was in it. What are we talking about? He was in the episode.
Didn't have any lines, did he?
No. He looked pleased when little lady
Lyanna.
Lyanna Mormont
Lyanna Mormont, yeah.
he looked pleased for her.
He likes.
He was thinking,
He's
oh, good.
He's a really good father figure in
Yeah.
the show to kids.
Yeah.
Has he ever had that out with Melisandre? I forgot.
Sort of. That's why she was. Yeah,
But
that's why she was exiled.
But it's kind of like the reaction seems lacking. This woman burned this child alive for
Yeah,
no
but-
reason.
Look, you look at Game of Thrones with too much of a moral compass, right? No, none of the fans cared at that point because she'd just brought back Jon Snow. Like we can forgive her for burning the kid.
Because she
It's
brought
a,
back
it's
Jon
a,
Snow.
it's a reasonable sacrifice. Realistically, would you rather have had that kid stay in the show, or would you rather have had Jon Snow back? Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Shireen! Shireen, obviously. I love Shireen.
ask?
She was lovely.
Jesus Christ! I'm not saying she wasn't lovely, but in like the grand scheme of things, would I rather have Shireen or Jon Snow? Oh, actually, you know what? We don't need Jon Snow moving forward. Let's carry on with Shireen
A better idea.
before she turns to stone.
Better idea.
Yeah.
The show could sacrifice all their scenes with Sam. Both of them.
true.
Does Sam have a point at this point? He must, because they're leading up to something.
He's already discovered about the mountain of dragon glass.
He knows there's dragon glass at Dragonstone
yeah.
or something, doesn't he?
Dragon glass at Dragonstone.
You wouldn't have guessed that, would you?
It's
The historic seat of the Targaryens.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I wonder
odd.
where it is.
But thankfully, we have got Sam on the case to. Well, actually, we've got Gilly to thank, really, haven't we?
Gilly did that.
Yeah, Gilly did that, and Gilly hasn't been shoveling feces.
I mean, it's not the life that he promised Gilly, really, is it? Gilly and little Sam, I'm going to
Little
come and
Sam
mace
grew
her.
up a bit too fast, didn't he? How much time has passed? Because it would seem like for some characters it's been like a few days.
Well, Dany made her way across the sea, and yet Jon's apparently started in the same meeting as it. Like, it's literally directly after King in the North.
It seemed that way. It probably wasn't. They probably just had the same meeting every day.
In the same seat.
Yeah.
If anyone moves, no.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my seat.
One stays,
Excuse me.
Littlefinger always like up against the wall.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
I
like,
need a seat.
Littlefinger,
I'm happy here.
Littlefinger, would you like to sit down, my lord? What? What was that?
I'm alright over here, thank you. Oh. I feel in a weird way. I feel a bit sorry for Littlefinger now
Why?
because even Sansa's realised he doesn't really need to be there.
He's a creep.
Everyone's talking behind his back. Like even Brienne's like, why is he still here? Littlefinger's walking off by himself. I know he's creepy.
He's doing
and weird.
something. I'm sure
up
he's
to
doing something.
He's been up to something since like episode 1. But,
Yeah.
You know,
I was Team Varys all the way. I love Varys. He's one of my
Yeah.
favourite Game of Thrones characters. He's
Yeah.
got a tan this episode. Did you notice
I'm not
that?
surprised he's been in the sea.
He's been across the sea.
He's been across the
for
sea.
ages. He's got a really big tan. Tyrion kind of underused. Felt a bit underused.
A little.
I didn't want him to join Dany so that he would have to be following Dany about. Like, I hope that...
Quite literally.
Yeah, literally.
Following
that's
Dany.
what happened
Quite
in the
literally.
episode. Just followed Dany about.
That was a good 3-minute sequence though.
Was that because of the music, though? The music swelled as they walked up a staircase.
No, but the interesting thing to watch out for was the different types of steps they were walking up.
I did actually
Sometimes
find
it was
myself...
stone steps.
Yeah.
And there was a big door.
Sometimes there were
leading
dragon heads
to
on either side.
more steps. There were, yeah, dragon heads.
Yeah.
All in all, an excellent sequence.
That little touch to show us the... Sorry. To show us the
Are you
relationship.
threatening me?
The blossoming romance between Missandei and Grey Worm, where for some reason he thinks he's going to follow Dany up to the throne.
I think he wanted to sit on the
He
seat
was actually just going to go and
Yeah.
sit down on the throne.
That was
Like,
his plan
I
all along.
deserve this.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know the shit I've been through. He has been through some stuff.
So has Sam. Sam's been through some shit too.
As compensation, I feel like for that moment when Grey Worm was walking towards the throne and we saw Missandei go,
Hang on.
no,
Hang on, Grey Worm.
hang on Grey Worm, my love, and it was quite romantic, wasn't it?
It was quite romantic. Oh, I'll tell you what I noticed.
What?
You know the room where like the table is and like where Stannis used to be?
Yeah,
You know those 3 windows?
yeah.
That set. That's not the same set as where Sherlock filmed its
I
finale,
was
is it?
just
You know when was
thinking that.
it 3 guys that came down and were
There were
hanging?
those 3 guys
Yeah.
and yeah.
In like the last episode when they were doing the sort of like Saw style different traps in different rooms sort of thing. And that and then they
Yeah.
had to call Molly and be like,
It rem-
Molly, I love you. Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I try not to.
Yeah.
Still can't get over the fact that they decided it would be a good idea to give Sherlock a secret sister he forgot about. Not only that, but he also has
You
a best friend.
You remembered her as a dog.
no, he didn't remember her as a dog, he remembered his best friend.
So he's dead.
What an insult
His dead
to
best
Victor,
friend.
his dead best friend. So imagine, like, if I, after years of us growing up together, okay, so we're good friends, you and I,
Yeah.
all these years growing up together, considering that time, we played pirates, all sorts, and then I died somehow.
Yeah.
How offensive to me from the afterlife if you start remembering me as a dog, not even by my name, even
I'll call you like.
a pirate name,
It wouldn't be
One-Eyed
Red, it'd be
Jane,
One-Eyed Jane. Yeah.
One-Eyed Jane, my dog that I loved.
Yeah. One-Eyed Jane sounds more like a cowgirl, though, doesn't it?
Or you think of a better pirate
One-Eyed
name.
Jane.
Think of a better pirate name then.
I don't know, like slimy soup.
Slimy soup. That's even more of an insult. I die after all these years together, and then you start remembering your faithful dog's slimy soup. Why would you even start talking about that? Oh yeah, the room in the Dragonstone, the Sherlock room. What a tangent that was.
Why slimy soup?
You thought of it! You thought of me and you thought
any pirate
a pirate name for my sister. Slimy Sue.
Yeah, Captain Jane Swashbuckle.
What?
Captain Jane Swashbuckle.
Kind of sounds like a bit of a Pirates of the Caribbean rip-off though, doesn't it? Like a bootleg figure.
That would be if they recast Jack Sparrow as a woman though.
Would that? Oh, I don't know if people would be able to take that.
No, they wouldn't.
Pirates, women as pirates.
Everyone knows that women weren't pirates.
Women were not pirates.
Everyone knows that pirates looked like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
It's just a fact, and they were a bit quirky. That's just how pirates were. Like, I'm not getting involved.
Slightly
That's just
drunk.
how pirates were. They weren't women, and they all look like Johnny Depp.
All of them?
Every one of
So
them.
you tell me every other pirate in that film is a bastardisation of the name pirate?
Yeah. Tell you, do you reckon Captain Hook and like Jack Sparrow would get on?
Captain who?
Captain Hook.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said. I just Captain.
Can you?
I think Captain Hook and Jack Sparrow would get on.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
I prefer Captain Hook.
Okay, I didn't ask your life story.
Right, we need to wrap this up now because it's been a while.
Oh,
but we've been talking for ages.
Okay.
Do you have more to add or something?
Next question.
Do you have
Right,
more?
we need to wrap this up now.
Sorry, did you have more?
I'm willing to
pearls
carry
of
on.
wisdom?
Right, we're going to wrap this up now. I've had enough of this. Time to end this.
End it now.
Time to shut this shit down.
So, okay, out of 10, what would you give that episode?
6.
6.
I didn't think it was bad. I liked it.
I think I'd give it a 6.
It was
as well.
exciting. I'll tell you what. Maybe I was just in an excited mood, but I heard I felt like the bass was louder in the theme tune. Maybe it was just exciting that the theme tune was back. But it was like loud.
I don't
Right,
think
let's
that
wrap this
the
up.
bass was louder in the official HBO version. I was wondering why the bass was louder in your version for some reason. Well, I'd give it a 6 as well. I like the Jamie and Cersei stuff, the Arya stuff was good, the Sansa and Jon stuff was good. There was a lot of good character moments, but we could have done without the entire Sam sequence.
I say that, but I also don't know how different my life would be now if I hadn't seen that. There are some things you have to see to become a more rounded person. And I think that was one of them.
And on that remark, we're going to go. Thanks for watching Slimy Sue and...
Watch Game of Thrones legally, everyone.
Oh yeah, don't do anything illegal. Bye.